Can you hear me?
No.
No? Just a second.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we can.
Peter, we can hear you.
Okay, no problem then. Yes, okay, we already had this, let's say, presentation a few weeks ago. Now we somehow tried to shorten it. So our team was, just a second, our team was consisted of members. I was the head, Bort was the deputy, and then we had Dita, Herwig, Roger, and Martin. As you know, new technologies will impact our world tremendously. Also our companies, our jobs, and also our, let's say, profession as controllers. So this topic is really something very, let's say, important to us. When we had these meetings about new technology, we discussed about a lot of technologies. And then we tried to narrow it down to three most interesting for us. And we decided to have technologies like artificial intelligence, hydrogen, and 5G. And then we also decided that we will take approach that two of the members will take one topic, and then we decided that me and Marcin will take artificial intelligence, Edita and Herwig will take 5G, and hydrogen will be taken by Borut and Roger. Our meetings were interesting because hydrogen is, I mean, all these topics are very interesting. Also, some of us, we are in touch with these new technologies also at our jobs. But I have to mention that we are not, let's say, really experts in these technologies. So it would be easier to talk or have some presentation on controlling topics or topics that we get used in our jobs. But these kind of topics are a bit more difficult to go really deep in. We tried, hopefully we succeeded. So our presentation will be interesting also for other members of our ICV group. So, okay. We can start with our presentation, and it will be consisted of three presentations. So, okay?
Yeah. Yes. At this point.
Okay. Okay.
This is 5G, I suppose. That's 5G, huh?
Yeah, I think it's the wrong one, Peter.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. 5G, please start. Don't complicate things, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will, Edita, stage is yours. I will mute myself.
Thank you very much. And I would be grateful if you could change the slides. 5G, let's go to 5G. 5G called fifth generation. We are talking about fifth generation. However, Japanese are today thinking about sixth generation. However, the world is changing. And for sure, we will have completely new reality soon. And there are two main things connected with 5G. So I would suggest to remember the definition of this technology as a very high speed and the possibility to transfer huge files. But first, let's ask Herwig to put
Next slides, please. Next slides. Next slide. Okay, nearly no latency, meaning that the time between giving information to the world and coming back is latency, and the latency will be beyond 0.5 milliseconds. So it's nearly instantly you're getting an answer of an information. And also, it's 5G is important, the extreme high data rate, not known today with 4G, much more. And with this, it's possible to drive cars, it's possible to make operations, and so on. We give you some examples. Please, next slide. For example, medical treatment. Most of the examples are already possible. They are in test phases, and it's all over the world. People are working on these things. having a smart ambulance, meaning that the information about the patient, about the actual data of the patient, could be transferred during the drive to the hospital already to the ambulance. Please, next. Remote surgery, when you're living on an island where there's no doctor or where there's no specialized hospital, a doctor from all over the world can treat you by remote surgery. It's already done in China, it's already done also in Germany, and close, but still remote. And I'm sure in some years, many specialized operations will be made by machines operated very far from. Next slide. You know, the private cars driving autonomous, they have to know always where they are. Very fast connections are important, and they have to know about the surroundings, therefore high data rate. Next slide. Taxis, autonomous taxis driving. Here you see an Uber example from America, I think Arizona, still voting for Mr. Biden. That's important to realize 50% of the taxi costs are driver costs. In future, the price of a taxi will be reduced to 50% because cars are autonomous driving. Next slide. Autonomous public transport. Here you see an example in Berlin. There's still a driver sitting inside, but he don't drive. He is only there for security reasons, because in Germany we don't have the law that they can drive autonomous. But I've seen these small buses already driving. It's working without any problem. No accident up to now. Next slide. That's very interesting. Lorries, autonomous driving lorries. You know, many accidents on the motorways are made by lorry drivers falling asleep because they drive too long. With these systems, especially starting motorways, it will be much safer to bring goods from point A to point B. Next slide, please. And if you please start the video.
A driver enters to lead the connected convoy onto the public roads, where dedicated bus lanes should be used if possible. Autonomous connected trailers create safe, modular, and flexible vehicle convoys adapting to transportation needs. Adjusting to schedule updates, the flexible convoy switching goods along the way, a mobile consolidation center. The transport system is enabled through an integrated cloud platform, connecting vehicles, people, infrastructure, and logistic partners. In the city, the sensors of the autonomous refuse truck detect all movements in the vicinity of the environment and reacts automatically to any potential incidents, making sure citizens are safe and preventing accidents before they happen.
Okay, you can stop it, please. Next slide. Interesting 5G in transport, that the accident rate will go down about 95% because machines are much better than people. Robots will be working together. Now we have robots and not working together because the time lag is too big, but in future, it's with low latency is possible to work with robots in companies, especially to produce small series. Next slide, please. Smart farming. Farmers should know how to work on their farms, how to bring on fertilizers and so on the area. And that's possible with smart farming, knowing about the situation on the acre, on the area, and then using the right things for smart farming. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, if you have it been a football game, for example, here in Warsaw, you want to phone, it's nearly impossible because 50,000, 70,000 people will phone at the same moment. It's not possible anymore. In future, it's possible because 5G has much more communication capacities. Next slide. This picture is coming from the third world, from America, where everywhere you see these lines, and with 5G it's possible to bring the last mile without these systems to the client. third world, yeah, America. Next slide, please. In future, that's a point, having every second kilometer amassed with this technique, and then you can get all information on your mobile phone or on your PC and your laptop. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, it's a dream of worth living cities that not only with 5G, but also with AI and with hydrogen, we will live in cities totally changing, especially in Europe. We will produce downtown areas. We will live in downtown areas not without, but with much less cars. So it's the streets are open for people, for walking, for restaurants, for pubs, and they are allowed to open after Corona. And so it's much more easy, much more living possibilities in the cities. Work and living, lodging is possible downtown in the cities. Next slide, please. And now it's Edita.
Yeah, so you see a lot will change soon. And it means also that we will lose some jobs, just like drivers won't exist anymore, but we will have new jobs. Peter, might you go on? So probably we even do not know how the new jobs will be organized, how to call them, what it will be, but for sure, go to the next slide, we won't have drivers soon. We won't have another picture, please. Miners, no need to have miners.
But these are Polish miners. In Germany, we don't have them anymore.
Exactly. And probably also this profession will disappear. Ticket controllers, we won't need such a person. So all simple jobs will disappear soon and completely new jobs will come to life. We even don't know which one. So this is why you see those 3 dots at the end. Let's go to the next. You see the countryside. This is a challenge, how to really how to deliver the 5G technology to every place on the world, because this is the only reason. Otherwise, the disappointment of lack of high tech will be much higher than it is now. So let's go. The costs are really huge. However, on the other hand, if you can imagine how much does it cost to have eco organized, lower number of accidents going to work and traveling, etc., etc. So let's go on. For sure, everybody knows and feels that the societies are more or less technically, let's say, based right now, especially right now. However, on the other hand, there is a chance that we will have more time for our families and friends soon, hopefully. Let's go on. So let's just try to think about pluses and minuses. So on one hand, we can meet people whenever we want, but on the other hand, this is not enough to see you on monitors. Right now, we have no limits to find anything we want in internet. But on the other hand, the technology will really change so fast that we still have to be on time. We still have to be updated, and this is exhaustive. And we expect to have more time for private, for friends. But on the other hand, probably our back will suffer, our eyes will suffer. So let's go on. Probably physiotherapists will have a lot of work to do, but hopefully we will have time for our body. So this is the final view we both have after long discussions spent together on 5G. And thank you, Herwig, for this time. I really learned a lot.
Thanks again, also from me.
Okay, thank you. Now we will try with hydrogen again. Just a second. No. Just a second. One second.
Or we can open a discussion about hydrogen.
No,
what
just
remember from the last time?
Just a second. Just a second.
Yes, yes, Peter. I'm just talking to give you more time to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's like a clown, you know. In the meantime.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes.
Can you see the presentation? I will start the presentation. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, then I will mute myself and Borut, the stage is yours.
Let us first somehow present the concept of the hydrogen with a short movie. Peter, please. Just play.
ICV colleagues, today I would like to inform you about the hydrogen process. The whole process starts with electricity, which is necessary for the production. This electricity helps to divide water into O and in H2 gas, which is called hydrogen. O is Sauerstoff, and which needs a production process to do this. If this process has been finalized, the next steps would be to build up pipelines and transportation possibilities. If this is available, this will be transported to gas station for cars or for other purposes like heatings for households or the industry. If we look at the gas station process and the cars and trucks, which are important in this for this segment, to fill up a tank would need 3 minutes for 500 kilometers at 700 bar, which is a very high density for cars and trucks. If they have filled up their tanks, the process starts in the fuel cells to create electricity. For the electromotor in the cars and trucks. To move the car and the trucks forward. So this is in short the whole process for the hydrogen. And the crucial thing is today, besides production and the transportation, is the electricity. As long as electricity is produced from natural coal or gas, this is not an environmentally friendly process. The input needs to come from renewable energy. Otherwise, this will not be environmental efficient.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Later soon.
So if we continue with the next slide, I would like to make some video subtitles very shortly. What you have seen that electricity is very important. So to get, just imagine, to get 1 kilogram of hydrogen, the green one, made by electricity, you need 8 kilograms or 8 liters of water and 162 megajoule of electricity. That is around 45 kilowatts. In order to produce 33.3 kilowatts of electricity. So to go a little bit down to the next, not next chart, but just the next picture, you can make this story a little bit different. So imagine you have 100 watts, and which you need to produce the hydrogen, and by this process you make 75 watts. And again, by converting, to compress it, you again lose 10% of it. At the end, you get only 38 watts in the electricity in the car, if we now focus on the transportation. So there is quite a huge gap, yes? And I put also another picture on the right, how efficiency is with the electric cars. So if you put 100 watts, you get 80 watts at the end. So there is a lot of efficiency gap between hydrogen or electric car. And on the other hand, we also have to know that we already have 5 million of electrical cars on our roads by end of last year, versus 7,500 cars on hydrogen. So it's still not massive production. And I have learned that in Slovenia, already in 2013, we had the first hydrogen gas tank. And unfortunately, it was closed last year since it wasn't rentable. And I have shown you here on my right the map of hydrogen refueling stations. And you can see you can really not drive below Zagreb or not even below Milano, because you will not find those stations at the moment. So there is a lot of infrastructure work that needs to be done. So why are we still thinking about and talking about hydrogen? Peter, if you can go to the next slide, please. Because our dream is to have zero emission energy, and that European Union becomes energy independent and pollution free. In order to beat the climate change, without transportation being decarbonized, we cannot imagine. So for the transportation, Europe actually imports the energy, which adds massively to pollution. So we believe that the hydrogen could help to become winner by producing and exporting its own green energy. The advantages, if we can go to the next slide, of the hydrogen were already mentioned. And at the time of being, it's already used in transportation, a little bit of, mostly for the industry and as a feedstock. And if we can go to the next slide, please. Today, if you don't know anything else, you have power forklift trucks that are being used massively in warehouses, because they're they have longer working times and they're much faster refueled than electric forklift trucks. So if we go to the next slide, we were talking about disadvantages of hydrogen, and it only means that we have to find the right concept. So if we think about the transportation, and if we, for example, focus on cars, we have to know we cannot have them in small cars, because hydrogen takes a lot of volume. It takes like 4 times the volume of, let's say, gasoline. So for small cars, we have to forget it. But for big cars, or let's say even more trucks or trains, or even better, planes, it is excellent solution, and we should be working on this. And if we go to the next slide, please. What is our job as a controller? Since the market is really growing up, we have to check how the hydrogen can help lower emissions in our own production facilities, and to estimate impacts on our own products and on supplied products. And due to present high production price, own sensitivity analysis should be made on projected lower production price in the future. So this is most that is important from our point, and only the last slide where you can find some more information about the hydrogen. So this is it, very shortly.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, Herwig has one question, but please can we arrange something like that we have also this artificial intelligence presentation, and at the end we can put all the questions in.
Okay.
I said only great, done.
Oh, okay. Now we'll try to start with the last part, with artificial intelligence. Just a second. Can you see it? Can you see the presentation? Okay, I will start it.
Yes.
Okay, now you can see. Artificial intelligence. Yes, I will start with the definition of artificial intelligence.
But Peter, we see the slides, all the slides, not in the presentation mode.
Oh.
Top, you have to take, you make it, yes, on top there is a yellow line, there we've accepted.
Okay. Okay. We'll try it again. Yes. Can you see it now in presentation mode? Yes,
Yes.
okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, I will start with definition of artificial intelligence. These are somehow computer systems able to perform tests that, let's say, normally requiring human intelligence. Typical are visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, translation between languages, and stuff like that. What is my dream about artificial intelligence? Okay, artificial intelligence is really going to have a big impact on our civilization. I think that it is going to change the world more than anything in the history of humankind. There's not going to be any industry or person which life is not going to be affected by artificial intelligence. Okay, we'll start with the movie.
In the not-so-distant future, you will have all kinds of AIs that don't just do what humans tell them, but they will invent their own goals and their own experiments, and they will transcend humankind.
Give it a goal, you've given the machine an incentive to defend itself.
When an artificial intelligence reaches human intelligence, it will very quickly exceed human intelligence. And once that happens, it doesn't even need us anymore to make it smarter. It can make itself smarter.
Yes, as you can see, these robots from Boston Dynamics are really, really impressive. And this is right now, it's not in the distant future, it's really working robots. When we talk about future of artificial intelligence, we have to think of also of two topics. First one is a fourth industry revolution, which somehow also consists of artificial intelligence, big data in the clouds, robots, digitalization, Internet of Things, and also smart manufacturing. And then there is also one term very important to understand, singularity. Also, the video was talking about it. It is a hypothetical point in time at which artificial intelligence exceeds human intelligence. And then this technological growth becomes uncontrollable, and it's difficult to imagine what kind of the future there will be with this super intelligence. But this singularity is not going to happen in 5 years, but maybe, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 years. Maybe never. Okay, advantages of artificial intelligence. Of course, massive advances in all branches of technologies. Artificial intelligence is available, of course, 24/7 without any sick leaves or something like that. It is really helpful in jobs that are repetitive. And it helps with a reduction of human errors. We have here some, let's say, examples of artificial intelligence. It's of course used in self-driving cars. It is used, of course, in Google search when you have all human knowledge at your fingertips. And of course, there are a lot of these digital assistants. You have on Apple, you have Siri, you have Google, and stuff like that. And then you have robots in manufacturing, shipping, and agriculture. Also, Herwig was talking about it in 5G. Of course, also, you have to mention artificial intelligence performing surgeries, diagnosis. Some narrow diagnoses are right now made better with artificial intelligence than with human doctors. Of course, there are a lot of disadvantages of artificial intelligence. People are going to lose jobs due to artificial intelligence and robots. Over 30% of jobs are under potential threat by the year of 2030. This is not the right year. High cost of creation, of course, because you need a lot of capital and money to have this, to have artificial intelligence. And there is a difficulty that they don't have emotions. You have to simulate, but it is possible to simulate emotions. That's another topic. Then you have, of course, artificial intelligence can help you to manipulate our thinking, our voting via social media, like this was the case with Oxford Analytica scandal in 2016, American voting. Then you have war robots, and of course you have artificial intelligence piloted planes, which can outperform experienced pilots in this moment. There are some pictures of these robots. Okay, change of our life until 2030 because of artificial intelligence. So in 10 years, there are going to be, for sure, self-driving cars, trucks, and stuff like that. A lot of home robots we can expect. They can be powered by supercomputers via cloud. Of course, in healthcare, artificial intelligence diagnosis, robots performing surgeries. In education, of course, also we expect that there are going to be some sort of intelligent tutoring systems powered by learning analytics. Some of these systems are already available also. Okay, there are, of course, as I was talking about employment, labor, because of artificial intelligence, labor is becoming a less important factor in production because owning intellectual capital is more important. And so majority of citizens may find the value of their labor insufficient to pay a socially acceptable standard of living. Because of this, we have to think of universal basic income. This is not something out of the future, because also in this pandemic, coronavirus pandemic, let's say in Slovenia, there was some sort of universal basic income for some citizens. Then you have social inequality, because top of 1% of the richest can be even more rich. Then we have to think of taxes on robots and artificial agents. Then maybe you can, Marcin, you can join in with your slides.
Yes.
Sorry, we are, we are at the end of the time, so please, last minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so thank you, Peter. I will move quite quickly, and in my part of the presentation, I would like to demystify this scary, ruthless AI, because one of the biggest advantages of the AI is that will help you to perform the very mundane work, which will help for hours. And actually, one of the questions which I ask myself is, what as financial controller I can do about that? It turns out that we can use AI, and using AI machine learning is not more difficult than using Excel. So, for instance, as financial controllers, you are obviously engaged in a lot of company operations. A lot of us interact with supply chain, and using out-of-the-box optimization algorithms, we can, for instance, very easily determine where to locate our next distribution center, or we can optimize delivery network. And we can also optimize our inventories to optimize stockouts, diminish working capital, in which large amounts of money are usually hidden, and something what your management board will bless you for. We can also quite really easily maximize marketing activities. So, for instance, we can predict what customer wants. We can segment our customers in a meaningful target groups, or we can use recommendations engines to help our advise our customers what he or she is really eager to buy. Or, for instance, we can conduct social network analysis. Peter, to the next slide, please. Another things which you have seen yesterday is we can effectively manage and simulate the risk with the simple tools like Monte Carlo simulation. You can optimize your revenue and liquidity by predicting how many of your customers will not pay their invoices. We can optimize pricing. We can also optimize actually our enterprise, because a lot of people discusses how our business processes looks like. We can take the tools like from SAP, take the data from our ERP systems, and reconstruct how our business works at the moment. Companies having free cash can construct their financial portfolios. Actually, every business problem is something what has to be analyzed, and using data visualization techniques will help you to generate great insight in any kind of problem. Those from us also dealing with supply chain and with sales can relatively easily forecast demand. So analyze peculiar time series of sale for the particular SKU, or, for instance, reliably predict the demand in the long term using something like halter winters. I know that seems mysterious, but actually very often it's no more difficult than using Excel. But so as to succeed with application of AI requires appropriate mindset. We have to be open-minded, and we have to cultivate willingness and ability to learn quickly. just at the moment and in the nearest future, something like knowledge or experience actually will not exist. We have to be able to solve new problems. Shall we have PhD in mathematics and in computer science to apply machine learning as financial controllers? No, we only have to use it to the appropriate and to the appropriately formulated business problems, and it's no more difficult to excel. So we have quite easily learn it. And also from the point of the way how we act in our current engagements, we shall evolve from being financial scorekeeper to more a partner and a business consultant, from KPI reporter to persons optimizing business processes, and from researchers of the past to future predictors, because this is what actually interests our managers, our board, and the people with whom we work with. From generating alerts to identify the root causes, why something happened, and what are the relations in factors which contributed to something what happens in our enterprises. And something also what is important, we have to become SMEs in the industries of our companies. Quite often in the future, we will be conducting feasibility studies of investments or in IoT technology in your new manufacturing plant, so as to be able to provide anything meaningful, do anything meaningful about that. You have to some kind of awareness what's IoT and how it works.
Okay, I will just finish our presentation with who will be the winners and losers of artificial intelligence. And I would say that winners could be all of us if artificial intelligence is somehow shared through all humankind. Problem right now is that the monopoly of the most advanced artificial intelligence is in the hands of a few technological multinational companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Facebook, and that they can be the winners and we could be the losers. So the biggest hurdle, in my opinion, is not economical, but it's political. So we hope that artificial intelligence will make the benefit for the all humankind. Okay, this is from my side everything, also from our group, our three technologies, we presented them. So now it's time to you to give us some questions regarding hydrogen, artificial intelligence, or 5G. Do you have any questions or interesting remarks? Or
thank you
applause?
Thank you very much. I see that Anna wants to ask a question.
Actually, I wanted to comment that it's an amazing presentation that I see. You also touch upon that how much this world is going to change. You already experienced all those tools that are already available during this pandemic period. And I also read quite a lot in that respect recently. And in regards to this hydrogen and electrical machines, cars, etc., actually, it also came that companies that are looking into that topic and would like to lead that, they need to actually look into chemical elements. And it was said that for electrical cars and machines, actually lead element, it's the crucial one. And the winner of this industry could be the company that has access to the lead element to be able actually to produce. And it appeared also like China, why I'm not surprised, they have a quite significant impact into that resource. They have some in their country, but they also invest in a lot of companies that are having the biggest possibility to extract it. And I also heard that Elon Musk decided that he will open his own, I don't know if it's mine or what, of this lead element to be able to use into his car and not be dependent from suppliers, to be able also to progress with his projects. So actually with this new technology, it seems like a chemical elements also used for it would be imported in that respect. I enjoy your presentation very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, I see one question on chat window. Hervik is also raising his hand. However, Hervik, maybe you could answer the question from Mariusz on chat, because I remember we discussed this, and then you say your comment.
Just about climate change, yeah.
So, Hervik, the question from Mariusz is that is connected with the climate. What about the climate change, comparing and the subject of new technologies? All new technologies will need more energy, and this will be just connected with global warming. What is your opinion? Might you please unmute?
Sorry, I don't think so, Mariusz. I found in internet that a field of 300 to 300 kilometers in the Sahara would be enough to produce the electric energy the whole world needs, the whole world. And or if you use it for hydrogen, of course you're losing 20–30%, but I'm sure it will diminish even a bit to 90%, but doesn't matter. The problem is coal, the problem is gas. That will make much more problems. And batteries, what Anna said is totally right. Battery is a problem. It's only a technology for the next 20–30 years. In future, we have to have electric power energies to store it, to have this possibility to store. And therefore, hydrogen is in future much more important than the battery systems.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, Mariusz is not really convinced, I think. However, on the other hand, I know, for example, from 5G point of view, that also 5G and all those new technology, factors and all the things connected can also work on helping to survive our nature. This is only the issue how to use the technology and not be used by technology. This is an issue, and probably this is also our controller's role. Team 3, thank you very much, Peter, for your great job, and all the team. Because I was also a member, we were over time with our presentations, so we did not succeed to be on time for 25 minutes only. However, for me, this is a lesson that it's extremely difficult when many people are trying to have 25 minutes presentation. So not easy. Okay, so I would suggest, if you have another question, let's start a break. Just put your questions to chat window, and we as a Team 3, we will try to answer on chat window. And I would suggest that if anybody wants to stay for next 10 minutes, no problem. If anybody wants to go for water, for tea, let's meet 15 minutes past 5.